you don't have to be 100%, your life is great to support somebody else. Okay? You could be going through something and your friend could be going through something and you guys could just go through it together.
I like that.
So let's just start off
Thank you
with,
for saying that.
You don't have to have it all together just, to support your homie or to support your friend.
Welcome back to the podcast. I started this podcast as a way to help Black men in all aspects of our lives. Studies show on average we lose 2.8 years of our life when we're under heavy stress. And I think we can gain those 2.8 years back if we express ourselves healthily. Stick with me as I interview therapists, doctors, advocates, activists, and friends about how we can be better as Black men and as a Black community. If you're not subscribed to us on YouTube and following us on Instagram and TikTok, you'll definitely want to do that. Without further ado, let's get into the episode.
All right, y'all. We are back with another episode. This is going to be a dope episode. We are here with Ariane. Ariane is a psychotherapist, your emotional wellness coach for entrepreneurs. You're a speaker, right? You do a lot. I don't want to introduce you wrongly, so I want you to share what it is that you do, and then we'll tap into the conversation.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me.
Of course.
My name is Ariane Camille. I am a psychotherapist and emotional wellness coach to entrepreneurs. I help entrepreneurs build wealth through prioritizing their mental and emotional well-being.
Okay.
And I believe that your business and your success is only as successful as you are mentally and emotionally well. So I provide tools. I help them just prioritize emotional expression and management. And I do that through creating my own safe spaces through workshops, events. I also do that by hosting events and being a moderator and panelist. And I do that one-on-one through coaching and through therapy.
I love it. I love it. Listen, like I said, this is going to be a dope conversation because I think there's a lot of different ways in which we could take this. But one of the questions that I wanted to ask to start off is about asking for help. Because I feel like that's one of the areas that we struggle a lot with as Black men. We've been conditioned to be hard. We've been conditioned to be providers. We've been conditioned to rely on ourselves only, right? Yeah. So what are some of the things that you feel like we can do to get out of that conditioning and also be able to get to a point where it's easier for us to be able to ask for help because we're going to need it at some point in time regardless?
Yeah, I think that sometimes people have a desire to ask for help, or they know that, man, I'm juggling a lot, or, they're feeling the capacity of their experiences and their obligations rising, but they may not know where to delegate and what they feel comfortable and confident with taking off their plate. So, I encourage people to identify where your needs are. Like, what are your goals and what do you need in order to accomplish them? And be practical about how much of those things you can do by yourself.
Right.
And like how many people you're going to need to help you on that journey. So, before you can ask for help, you have to identify what you need help with and what areas in your life are like missing pieces.
Right.
Because we are not superhuman.
Right. So how do you, when you work with your clients, is that something that you see come up? Like a client that's like, you're like, bro, you probably should be asking for a little help right now. And you're not. How do you work with them on that, right? Because I know you talked about identifying what you need help with. What if he doesn't know? What if they don't know, right? Like, what do you do? Okay. I
listen to like what areas that they're getting overwhelmed with, what areas, responsibilities are they feeling depleted in? Like, man, I gotta go home and I gotta cook again, or I gotta, go to work again, and then I gotta go to this event, and I really don't want to go to this event, or my homie's birthday party is this, and I really don't even want to go, and I'm tired. Like I just had a long week. So I listen to where the areas that they are having that friction, and then I give them permission. Well, I ask them if they would like to give themselves permission to let go of that.
What is
Like,
oh yeah, we getting.
Do you want to give yourself permission to let go of that party?
Right.
Could you make that up with your homie another time? Could you offer like, hey, bro, I really can't do the party this weekend, but I would love to grab lunch on Thursday. I actually have the capacity to do that. Like, can you give yourself permission to invest in meal planning? Like,
Right.
Sometimes the people who we're talking about with the very high capacity,
Yeah.
they have the finances to outsource.
A lot of the stuff. Yeah.
They have the finances to outsource, but they just believe that they are supposed to be doing everything. Yeah. So it's also like, can we let go of some of that like control a little bit?
Right.
Yeah.
That's good, because I was gonna ask you what you mean by like letting go, because I feel like that's hard for us. Is like relinquishing like that control, especially for entrepreneurs. I know for myself, when I was first going through like having to hire, Maria reached out to you, right? So like Maria's my VA. I also have Raphael, who is the editor on the team. Okay. So having to hire initially was like, oh my God, I gotta bring somebody into like my baby.
My world.
My world.
Yeah,
like,
I gotta trust them.
Right, like I have to trust them to actually execute on the vision that I have for this thing that I love so much. It's very daunting, right? Like, and even for somebody that's not an entrepreneur, right? Like, I gotta trust that my family members can support me in this way, right? I'm not really sure if they're gonna actually be able to show up. So how do we get to trusting, right? Like what's some advice you can give to the man that's like, bro, I hear you and I know you're telling me that I need to ask for help, but I don't trust these people, right? Like I don't trust reaching out to somebody and getting them to like do something that's gonna actually help me. Like, what do you say to that?
What is it costing you not to trust them? Like, is it costing you restlessness? Is it costing you sleep? Is it costing you, being extra critical of yourself? Like, what is it costing you to not give it a try? Because as an entrepreneur, we are big risk takers, right? And your confidence has to be high in order for you to be a risk taker. So you have to learn how to trust yourself in order to be in this entrepreneur race. Like, without trusting yourself, it's gonna be tough. We all have those moments where we don't trust ourselves, right? So I think that we can give other people an opportunity to show up with their gifts.
It's the opportunity.
Give them an opportunity. What if you could just give somebody an opportunity to be in their bag? If meal prepping is their bag, give somebody an opportunity to be like, no, I have skills in this. This is my gift. If VA-ship, assistantship, videography, editing, if that's someone else's gift, let them give them an opportunity to show out.
Yeah, that's good, man. I want you to talk about the negative impacts of like what happens when a Black man decides like, nah, I'm gonna do everything, right? I'm good. Like, what have you seen happens in those instances that you can speak to?
Yeah, something I haven't visibly seen, but statistics do show that the number one cause of death for entrepreneurs is heart failure.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And then it's suicide.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
So I do know that taking on responsibilities and constantly being in the wheelhouse of the stress isn't good for your heart. And I know that I see men experience panic attacks.
Yeah, that's real.
And start shutting down and isolating themselves from their wives, their kids, not showing up to their obligations. Experiencing depression. When you don't want to relinquish control or give somebody another opportunity, you're robbing yourself. And it shows.
You know what I've heard too, or I've seen is, and I don't know if there's like statistics on this or research on this, but I wanted to pick your brain on what your thoughts are. A lot of men having like strokes.
Yes.
Is that like, do you feel like that's related, or like maybe it's not? Like, what are your thoughts on that? Because like that's what that reminded me of when you talked about heart failure. It's like I've seen that trend of like men maybe in their 30s, 40s, 50s, like having strokes. Black men specifically.
Yeah. I mean, strokes. There's a ton of different things that can cause or, you know, be in connection with something like that. But I definitely can say stress, high volume, intense stress that comes from low self-esteem, decision-making fatigue, obligations, just not having boundaries, not taking care of yourself. Because we know in entrepreneurship, you can be on the go. You got networking events, you got emails, you got video calls, you got your own personal, whatever you're producing, putting that out as well. Then you also have billing and finances and management. Put yourself into the content
Don't
world.
remind me, please. Ariane, come on. Stop it. Stop it now. All right? Listen, I'm not trying to think about all this.
Yeah. That little pocket alone will have you like,
bruh,
oh my
I'm done.
gosh, okay?
I don't even want to look at the subscription. I don't want to look at it. I don't want to look at the memberships, the revenue.
All of the daggone accounts that you got, then you got to learn how to pay yourself. And
oh my God.
no one taught you how to do any of those things. So it's like, when you have all that and then you put a family on top of that,
oh my Lord.
How could you not set yourself up for literal, like your own personal demise? Your body and your brain is going to start asking for help. You know, I was talking to one of my clients the other day and I said, it's so funny that our bodies will tell us what we need even when we want to ignore it. You know, like
so explain
headaches,
that. Okay.
like headaches. You know, stomach pain, chest pains. I hear chest pains a lot from men.
Really?
Yeah. Like, man, I was having chest pains. Sometimes it's anxiety. You
know what I get with my anxiety? I get, and this may be TMI, but I get a lot of stomach aches, and then that leads to me going to the bathroom a lot. I was just telling my girl the other day, like I had a really, had an anxious morning. And I went to the bathroom 3 times. I'm not talking about like number 1. I'm talking number 2, 3 times before I even ate a meal for the day. And I'm thinking to myself like, whoa, bro, like this is the third time you've been in the bathroom. Like, what's up with you? Then I had to realize like, yo, you're getting anxious. And when I get anxious, my stomach starts hurting. It starts bubbling.
So then what do you do?
I don't do anything. I just continue to do what I'm doing. I feel like I'm in a session now. So let's do it. Let's do it.
So then what do you do
What
next?
do I do? When I get anxious, honestly, because if I'm not checking in and realizing that I'm anxious, I'm just continuing to do whatever it is that's creating the anxiety.
Let's take that day, for example.
Right. So that day, for example, I was anxious because I think I had a lot of meetings. And I knew I needed to like write scripts as well for the podcast, and I had travel coming up. So I felt like I needed to prepare the scripts, but I also needed to do the meetings because the meetings are going to lead to revenue for the business.
Facts.
And if I didn't do well in the meetings, then I don't get the revenue. But I'm also spending the time in the meetings. So that's taking away time from writing the scripts. So in my head, I literally exactly how I'm explaining to you, in my head, this is what's processing in my head. So automatically, how am I going to do all of this stuff?
There's no way.
Right. Exactly. And so what I did was I focused on what I could actually do during that day and realized like, yo, the day is gonna end and I'm not gonna be able to get to everything, and that's okay. Like I'll just stack rank priority, like what's the most important thing to do right now.
Right.
And then I'll set like realistic timelines and deadlines for myself with the people that I can set those deadlines with. So that's what I tried to do. And other days it may be different.
Yeah.
But I feel like what I could have done better was when I knew I was anxious, take a moment, because it would have helped me to actually be like, all right, cool. You know what? You are experiencing anxiety right now.
Yeah.
Just take a moment to meditate real quick.
Exactly.
Ground yourself so that you can be able to operate, so that you're not going to the bathroom 3 times.
No, for
before
sure.
12.
I think that mental check-in to like reconnect with your body is so important, especially when you're anxious. Especially, you know, even if you're feeling spousal sadness or any of those, you know, really tough emotions that you're going through.
Yeah.
There's something about saying like, what is going on with me? And like, oh crap, I need to do something, and trying to nurture it and nurture yourself back into that place. Even if it is like, if you just sat down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, let me just drink some water real quick and calm down, because my thoughts are getting out of hand right now.
Yo.
And I love to like take a deep breath. Deep breathing is really nice to me. During some of my like lowest points when I was dealing with grief, I was in 2020, Kizzle, life was crazy. It's really like 2021. I lost one of my really good friends, my really good girlfriends. And you know, sometimes there's something different about women passing away because women seem to be like less reckless or something.
Right. It's,
like,
it's almost like you don't anticipate that ever happening.
You don't anticipate it ever happening for real. Like they, you know, especially a mother, you know, like moms kind of like move different. Like I'm trying to get home to my kids, you know? And so I was grieving my friend as well as 2021, the pandemic was still going up, okay? So I was a call center first responder during the time that...
So you're taking in a lot of that.
I'm taking people calling and crying every day because COVID is still happening in 2021.
Yeah.
And it was like nonstop, just feeling like cloudy and feeling like I just could not breathe. And I really leaned into yoga at that time to really center myself. And you know how they say like practice non-resistance. So if you're trying to like bring on a habit, you want to have it as close to you as possible so that you can take on that habit and you don't have to worry about any friction in between. So I would have my mat out next to my little headphone joint and computer. So just in case I get a call that's like too heavy for me to handle, I let my manager know I'm going on break and then I'm hitting my mat. And I would just like decompress and just like really recenter myself because I would feel myself anxious. So much so that even when I started like re-entering the world, like going to lunch and, you know, communicating with friends and just people in general again, I would have to call my friends like, yo, I'm be 10 minutes late because I'm about to hit the mat. Like I would be dressed sometimes, ready to step out the door, but I'm like,
yeah, just saying it. Yeah.
I need to, it's not feeling all the way right. Like, let me take my jeans off real quick.
Like, go get a little session in.
Yeah, like.
Nah, that's dope.
And I gave myself permission.
Yeah.
I didn't care how late I was. If I was late, I was late.
That's dope. You know, I like that practicing non-resistance thing because it started getting me thinking about like just building better habits.
Yep.
And how sometimes it's very hard for us to build habits when we are not close to the areas, the people, the environments where we need to be for that habit to be cultivated, right? So practicing non-resistance, I'm gonna take that with me because I think that's gonna be really helpful for like some of the things that I wanna do. Like I'm just thinking about like any Black man that's like, yo, I wanna go to the gym more.
Right.
Like, then you realize, damn, the gym's 25 minutes away. I also got to get to work. How am I really going to make this work? You know what I'm saying?
Then what you going to do?
Now you got to go find some, you got to go buy some equipment.
Exactly.
Buy some equipment. That's how I started when I was first going to like the gym. Like, I remember I was fresh out of college. I was 145 pounds.
No.
I promise you. I look like a teenage kid, bro. I was 145 pounds. I'm not the biggest dude in the world right now, but I'm definitely not 145. I remember I did like maybe like a circuit of like maybe 20 push-ups and I wanted to vomit, bro. I was like, whoa, come on. You doing 20 push-ups and you want to, and not to shun anybody where they at with their journey, but it made me realize like, yo, bro, you are not where you need to be right now. And I promised myself exactly where I want to be, exactly. I like, thank you for correcting that. I like that. So I promised myself like, you're not gonna ever be back in this place. Yeah. So what do you need to do? What I did was I bought, there's a perfect push-up kit that you can use that has an exact, you know, you got something to
No, I do not. You will not see Ari doing no push-ups. My trying to be eating me up, trying to do a push-up.
Okay. All right. I'm about to say, all right, now. Let me see you get a set of 20 in. All right.
With the spin?
Yeah, with the spin?
No.
Okay, yeah. But anyways, right, so I bought that. I bought a pull-up bar.
Yeah.
And I just got to work, right? And that's how I started. That was my entryway into like working out. And then from there, I branched out. Like that gave me the confidence, like, okay, cool. Now I can go to the gym. I don't feel like I'm gonna be in the gym and like have to leave in the first 15 minutes because I have no type of stamina, right? I'm super fatigued, right? Like, so it gave me the space to be able to like practice on my own and then get to a place where I felt comfortable to then go out into the world and do that. Because sometimes that's part of it too. Like when you're trying to build a new habit, you don't automatically feel confident in that thing. And so that can sometimes be discouraging. It's like, I don't want to go to a yoga class right away to build a yoga habit.
Yeah.
I want to be in the crib first.
I did the same thing.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to be in the crib first. I don't know if I want to be around 30 folks that's doing that. That was the same for me, especially for me. I deal with like a little bit of social anxiety.
Yeah.
So going to the gym,
and you don't know what you're doing.
I don't know what I'm doing, and I don't know these people. Oh, hell no.
Yeah.
I ain't going there. I'll be fat, skinny, whatever I need to be, but I ain't gonna be fit in that gym. Nah.
You know what? When you was talking about the curl bar, it made me think about like how Black men could use at-home weights or curl bars as a way to remedy their anxiety, similar to me on the mat, you know? And I could imagine that if you allowed yourself to use the curl bar in times that get anxiousness, when you get done after your 20, you would feel better.
No, absolutely. And now that you say that, I'm literally making a mental note in my head to get like the perfect push-up because I don't have the kit with me anymore.
Yeah.
I'm gonna probably get that, and I'm gonna probably get some other stuff for the office because when you like
between me,
you know what I'm saying?
I
like, I'm gonna pump out 20, you know. I'm like, you know what, man?
That was
I'm a little
me in the
anxious
back,
right now.
like,
Yeah,
because it's tough.
I like that.
It's tough.
I really like that, and and the reason why I like that so much is because that's so practical.
It's so practical.
Anybody can go and do that. You know what I'm saying? If you have the means, the financial means to go and buy a perfect push-up or whatever the thing is, or you could just do push. You actually don't have to buy anything, right? Like,
but see, the thing is, I'm all about intentionality. My clients know it's all about your intentions. From, you know, you could calm your nerves just by pouring a glass of tea. You know, if you do it with intention to calm your nerves, and I'm saying, I'm gonna have a tea to calm down, or I'm gonna have a tea to spend some time with myself. You can do the same thing with those push-ups. Like, I'm about to bust out 20 because I feel anxious right now. The minute you tell your brain that that's the reason why you're doing it, it's going to serve the purpose.
Right.
Like, you're gonna be good. But you gotta create safety. Like, we all need pockets of safe places. For me, during that time period, the mat was my safe space. Now my journal is my safe space.
Oh,
so we all find different, it depends on your season.
Right. I like that. So let's talk about that though. Like, how can Black men create some of those pockets for themselves? I know we talked about perfect push-ups, doing push-ups. Like, what are some things that you've seen? I don't know if you're working with a lot of Black men specifically, or what are some things that you've seen or think would work for Black men to create some pockets for themselves, whether it be at home, at work, wherever they are?
I think there is power in leaning into the things that you're already doing. When people are anxious and they're depressed and they're trying to figure it out, adding to their plate is like the last thing that they need.
Right.
So like, I lean more into the things that they already enjoy doing. So like, if you're someone who watches sports all the time, you know, okay, well, go dribble a ball. Like, go throw the football around or something, even if it's to an empty space. Or like, I have one of my clients, I noticed that they take their sessions outside. It's a male client. So they will be talking to me and they will be like walking, and they just enjoy that. So I asked them, I wonder what it would look like when you're anxious and we don't have a session if you go for a walk. So I'm very person-centered, and I tap into the needs and the functionality of the person that I'm speaking to.
Right.
But I feel like it's important for Black men to pay more attention to themselves.
Talk about that. Yeah, let's get into it.
Pay more attention to your own personal habits. Like, what do you like? What do you do in your day? What puts a smile on your face?
You know why I think that, and I don't want to play devil's advocate here, but I think it's important to bring this up because I know some Black man is probably thinking, bro, what do you mean, right? Yeah, I know you know, exactly. What the hell are you talking about? Right, like, exactly. But it's because we've been conditioned so long to be worried about what everybody else likes that it's so hard for us to sit down and think about, what do I actually like that doesn't have anything to do with everybody else. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was a real like crisis I was in at one point in time. Like, I was so worried about my girl being good, family being good, brother being good, sister being good, friends being good, that if you asked me what I actually liked, I would tell you what everybody else liked, because that's all I was doing. And I didn't actually have an understanding of what I was actually passionate about, what I actually like to do, because I had never really been able to spend that time doing those things by myself, for myself.
Right.
And so I feel like there's a lot of Black men that are in that space. All right, I'm interrupting this podcast episode to let you guys know to leave a review on the podcast. Please, 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 if you are listening to this episode and you're finding value in this episode, you're enjoying the conversation, or you've enjoyed a previous episode or conversation, and it's safe to operate your phone right now, please leave us a review. Your review is a free and easy way to support us, and it helps us reach more people like you. We're on a mission to build a stronger, more connected Black community, starting with Black men. And you can help us on that mission by taking a minute out of your day to leave a review. Your review helps us generate more listeners, which in turn generates more revenue, allowing us to expand the platform even further. So please take a few seconds out of your day. I know you're busy. I understand. I know you're doing a lot, but it will help us greatly if you would just take a few seconds out of your day to leave a review right now. Did you leave a review yet? All right, let's get back to the episode. Mm-hmm. So what would you say for those men that are like, I hear you telling me to find out what I like, but what you mean by that? I don't even know.
Well, I would say keep doing what you're doing. Mm-hmm. And when you're serving others and you're in all these other pockets of spaces that are not yours, start asking yourself if you like what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. I'm not, again, practicing non-resistance.
Right.
So I'm not going to tell you to go on the date with yourself. And I know y'all ain't finna do that. Right? But next time you out with your friends, pay attention to who made the plans. Ask yourself if you really want to go there. While you there, do I really like this?
Yeah.
I'm going to just challenge you. Just allow that question just to pop up in your head for 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Do I really like this?
Yeah.
I actually hate it here.
Yeah. You know, what were we talking about before we started the episode? I was telling you how...
Oh, yes.
I love how these episodes, like this happens a lot during episodes. Like something that we talked about earlier will come up during the episode. But I was telling y'all how sometimes people would tell me like, yo, bro, you in Atlanta, you got to go out to a restaurant. Like you got to work hard, play hard. And like when I was in college, they're like, yo, you're going to regret not like partying more and having more fun. And what I told y'all, I was like, yo, I don't enjoy that.
No.
You know, a lot of like most of the world finds that very enjoyable.
Right.
And I had to realize early on that is not for me. That's not where I find joy. Actually, if you take me to a party, I am actually like having a horrible time the entire time, regardless of what I look like. I'm like, I cannot wait to get back home. This is not it for me. How are these people dancing and drinking? Everybody's around each other. I don't want to do this at all. I feel like I'm being tortured.
Sweaty.
You know what I'm saying? Right? But I got to that realization off of checking in with myself when I'm in these spaces, when I'm around other people and I'm doing things for other people instead of myself. And I'm there, I'm like, yo, dog, I actually hate this, bro. Like, I really don't want to do this. Now, granted, I have to do it from time to time, right? Like, but I really don't want to do this. And I think that's what you're saying is like, when you're in these spaces, how do you feel? Like, what does that feel like for you? And if you're not enjoying it, then maybe you want to tap into trying something else.
Exactly. But the awareness is something that I think that Black men don't give themselves permission to do. Like you said, I started checking in with myself. A lot of time you're being a servant. Right. So you're constantly sacrificing your own peace, your own sleep, your own finances to serve your community, be a provider, you know, provide and protect. So that's what you're doing. But I love these conversations and I love what you're doing because you are spearheading the likelihood for more Black men to be like, no, I matter.
Right. And I first of all, I appreciate you for saying that because that's what I'm trying to do. Like, I'm trying to get Black men to say, you know what? It's okay for me to just take a second, realize that I also have needs and that it's okay for me to have these needs.
Yes.
Can you speak to that? Because I feel like a lot of us struggle with that realization that I'm all, like, it's crazy to say it this way, but like the way I think of it is we we struggle with realizing that we're human.
Yeah.
Like, so can you speak to like how we navigate that struggle of like kind of deprogramming what society has taught us about being a provider and what we have to do and doing it for everybody else? How do we get out of that?
Yeah. First and foremost, if I could just get a little faith-based for a
No,
second.
please.
You know what I mean?
This is the platform
Like,
for it, so go right ahead.
We are children of God, you know? So even when you say like, how do we combat what the world is saying? Like, start with your position, which is a child of God, and think about what it is that he would like for you to do and what his expectations of you are. One, we have emotions. Like, God gave them to us. There is an expectation for us to, anxiety is in the Bible, depression is in the Bible, positive and negative self-talk is in the Bible. So like, we are expected to have these negative thoughts and this anxiousness, but we are also in expectation to be dependent on him and even our neighbors. He said, confess to your neighbors, community, like be one with one another, be kind to one another. So there's nothing in there that is written to say that you're supposed to carry this torch by yourself.
And the thing is, one of the things that happens when we try to carry that torch by ourselves is that we deal with burnout.
Yeah.
Can you first of all explain what that is for the black man that's like, what the hell you mean burnout? Because I feel like there's a lot of black men that are burnt out right now.
Yeah.
And they just haven't been able to identify what that actually is.
Yeah. I personally compare burnout to overwhelm.
Okay.
So I use the term overwhelm more because overwhelm is when your brain nor your body is capable of making a decision and you are so depleted that you aren't even able to ask for what you need. Like you're not even able to identify your next steps. And I feel like, I don't know if burnout is as like grounding, like to the bottom as overwhelm. And overwhelm is a time period. Okay. It has a time on it. Okay. And I know that people can be burnt out for periods of time. Right. And because black men are black men, I'm going to just push through, I'm going to move through. Right. They're probably sitting in burnout for weeks and months at a time. Right. With overwhelm, you literally are stuck. You're like, yeah. I'm not getting out the car. I'm not picking up the phone. I'm not doing anything else. And I think that how that shows up in black men is isolation. Yeah. Start isolating themselves.
So for the black man that's there right now, that's like, dang, this is me. How does he navigate that? Like what are some things that he can do to get past that or through that?
Well, can we be there for a second?
Let's do it.
Like, can we just be in the fact that I don't know what to do right now?
Oh, that's what you mean. Okay. Okay.
I think that because men are men, they want to be fixers, right? So you want to automatically, like, even your question was...
Yeah, like, what's the solution? I need a solution, right? Ariane, like, you're talking about overwhelm. How do we get to the solution? Come on now. You're talking about be there. No. How do we get to this? How do we get out of here, right? Nah, I got you. Go ahead.
No, like, you have to admit that you're there.
Okay.
Because, again, as you were talking about communicating needs, identifying needs, I don't think that black men spend enough time sitting still to be able to identify their needs, similar to like what they like and dislike.
Right.
So my challenge to you, if you're like listening to this podcast or any post from Express Yourself Black Man, and you're like, this is me, take a second. How do you identify with that?
Right.
What makes you relatable to that content that's coming out? How is those words that you're reading or what you're listening to mirror what your experiences are? What are the similarities?
Right.
That's a great question.
Right.
What are the similarities?
Right.
If you start with your own similarities, then we can move into what to do next.
I like that. I like that. I try to tell the men when the content resonates with them to sit with it for a little bit, because I feel like you said, oftentimes we're not spending enough time doing that in the first place, especially as men. We're always on the go. I gotta go do this for that person at this time. I gotta do this, that. I don't have time to sit to myself. Exactly what I told you when I was talking about my anxiety. I said I had to stack rank my priorities. Then I did everything that I needed to do.
Right, didn't even stop.
Right, I didn't even stop. Nah, I said, yo, listen, I don't care if I use the bathroom 3 times for 12. I gotta get this work done. So if I gotta go to the bathroom 3 more times, oh well, I'm gonna stack rank the priorities and do it.
10 minutes is not going to be a detriment to any part of your day.
But you know what's so wild?
It's not.
You know what's so wild, Ariane? I'm hearing what you're saying, but in the moment, it's so hard to just be like, you know what? Let me just actually take these 10 minutes to chill. Because in your head, you're like, bro, in these 10 minutes, I could be doing this. And even though it may be irrational, you're like rationally making it make sense, because you're like, yo, nah, I actually could do this, and this before this next thing. But I hear what you're saying, though, for sure.
And that's why I talk about permission all the time. Because it's like a little kid who is raising their hand in class and wants to go to the bathroom, right? Regardless of the person who gives you yay or nay, they don't know if you just trying to get out, right? Just trying to get out of class. You want to go fool around with your friends, or you really got to go to the bathroom, right? But we know, the person who's raising their hand, they know whether or not, what their intentions are. So if you know that when you raise your hand, i.e. anxiety, is saying that I need a break, will you then give yourself permission to go take a break? That's why I was talking about earlier, like our bodies be telling us stuff. We just don't give ourselves permission to listen to them. We be having headaches and be like, I'm gonna just take an Advil and keep going. Like, you probably need something more than that, i.e. your stomach pains or whatever it is.
I get what you're saying.
Give yourself a pass. You get permission for 10 minutes.
Yeah, to go chill. I like that. I might have to think on that for real, because I think it's important for me to like take time to myself. Not saying that I don't do it, but there's some times where I literally would be like, nope, not right now. And there's gonna be moments where I need to do that, but I think I kind of lean into that maybe too much sometimes. And it becomes a problem where it can lead to burnout or potentially overwhelm. Like yesterday, I think I was borderline overwhelmed. Like I was talking to my girl and she was like, yo, it's your friend's birthday. Make sure to text him. I said, babe, I ain't doing shit else. I didn't say it to her like that, but in my head, I said, fuck no. Fuck that nigga.
I don't care.
I ain't texting shit. But that's what in my head, you know what I'm saying?
It is.
I said, listen, I'm done, bro.
I'm done. No,
it was like 1 a.m.
Real.
You know what I'm saying?
That's real.
I had such a day. Like at the end of the day, I'm like, oh my, his birthday? Why this nigga was born?
I gotta be excited.
Oh nah, man. Why he has to be born today?
I gotta congratulate him.
Nah, bro, I was done. But I realized in that moment, I was like, yo, bro, like, I can't even take 45 seconds to text my mans right now. Like I got I need to chill real quick. So I just ate a little bit. I watched a little video, took my time, and then after I texted him and let him, told him happy birthday and sent him a nice message, because that's my man's for real. But I realized, like, in that moment, it wasn't him, it wasn't her, it was me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just put too much on my plate for the day. And at the end of the day, I needed to actually take some time to really like process and decompress, because I was feeling that level of like overwhelm. And one of the things I wanted to get into with you is I feel like sometimes that happens because of imposter syndrome, right? Like I feel like I got to do all these things to prove I belong here, right? Like I'm him, I should be here, I should have the platform, I should have all these different things, right? So can you speak to, first of all, what is imposter syndrome in the first place? And how can it potentially cause like these environments that sometimes we have to navigate as Black men that lead to like burnout?
Yeah. Imposter syndrome is definitely like a very popular term, like a trendy term. And because it's trendy, there's like a culture definition of imposter syndrome. And then there is like a clinical definition of imposter
Can
syndrome.
you break down the two?
Yeah.
I want to make sure I got both now.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
So the culture definition of imposter syndrome is like, man, I don't really think I should be here. Like, they got me on a panel, man. This is crazy. Like, all right, well, I guess I'm going to do it anyway, you know? And then you show up, you do the panel, like, it's good. And then afterwards, people are saying, like, oh, good job, Kizzle. Like, you did that. That was great. And you're like, thank you, man. And then you might walk away like, yeah, that was an all right time. I didn't think I could do it. You know, I didn't feel completely comfortable, but I did it. You might have felt a little like impostery a little bit going into it because you were thinking like, why are they choosing me?
Right.
And that's like the culture term, like that friction of not knowing whether or not that you fit in this space and that you belong in this space.
Right.
When we get to the clinical term of imposter syndrome, this person is at the highest of their high with all of the accolades, but they truly feel like they're playing a game on everybody else. I was actually laughing with some engineers the other day because there's one of them were happy because what they just build in Blueprint or whatever, the forms or whatever, they actually got to see it in real time.
Right.
And they're like, wow, I'm walking through a building and I helped, you know, like lay out the floor plans for this. So it was like really cool. Imposter, someone who is dealing with clinical imposter syndrome will get to the building and be like, these fools actually made this.
They're crazy.
They're crazy.
Yeah.
They would be like,
yeah.
They really just listened to me. I did not know what I was doing. Like, I had no idea. I just made that up. In their mind, they were like, I just made that up. And y'all really just built this whole thing. And they would really be struggling with accepting that they have the wherewithal, the intelligence to create something as beautiful as this building. And even if people were like, your floor plans were awesome. This is the best building that we've ever had. We're going to win awards. They would still be just like sitting like, no, it's not.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So
wow.
they are like really trapped. When it's like a clinical thing, they're very intelligent, you know, they get the job done, but they're trapped in not believing that they are capable. But that's why I said the culture definition is the struggles that we have about acceptance and self-confidence.
Right. It's more like self-doubt, feelings of self-doubt.
Yes. Yeah.
But maybe
definitely.
It's a little exacerbated in some instances.
Yeah. You
okay.
know, we're going to exaggerate online for sure. Yeah, the internet going to add a little razzle dazzle.
No, for sure.
But
for
it's
sure.
definitely a confidence thing for sure.
Okay. So then how do we navigate that? And like, what does that do sometimes for us as Black men that are dealing with those? Can you speak to both aspects or I don't know if you want to.
Well, we could talk about the culture term because I feel like more people are probably experiencing that.
Yeah.
You know, in order to boost your confidence, you have to recognize some accomplishments, you know, think about the things that you have done, recognize some times where people have said, wow, you did a good job. Like being able to like go back and read those things, see those things again, sit with them, you know, ask somebody, one of your homies, like, bro, what do you think? I know this sounds kind of crazy because I don't know if y'all even talk like this, but
I'm gonna let you know if we do. Go ahead.
Okay, before I like
go ahead.
ask bro, like what do you think about this?
Like an idea?
Yeah, like an idea or like my fashion line, like bro, like which one of these pieces are your favorite?
Oh, I do that all the
what
time.
Do you like good about this or whatever?
I do that all the time.
Or like, what do you think that I'm doing good at right now?
That I'm not asking. I'm not asking you what you think. No,
I got hats, I got shirts, and I got pants. What do you think I'm killing right now?
Oh, okay. That I would ask. I wouldn't ask it in that way though.
Yeah.
So what I normally do, right? Like if I have a thumbnail or something like that or a design, like I have a flyer design, right? I have maybe 2 iterations of it, 2 different versions, and I'll be like, yo, bro, which one do y'all like? Because I can't really tell, and I don't really care as long as it resonates, and I want them to tell me what they like so that I know it'll probably carry over to the audience.
But what they like is different from what you're good at.
Right, okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
What you're asking is, okay, bro, you see my content online, you see my podcast, and you see I got merch. Which one do you think I'm killing right now?
Yeah,
You
I
get
probably
what I'm
wouldn't
saying?
ask that.
But
I would only ask that if I don't feel like, if I'm not sure about what it is, which direction I need to take. Yeah, but I get what you're saying. But go ahead, continue.
Yeah, because what I am saying is, one, in the entrepreneurship journey, you're really in isolation. So your congratulations, good job comes from either clients, but they rarely come from the people that are really that close to you, because you see them as like, oh, they're my family. They're going to tell me I'm going to do a good job.
Right,
like,
regardless. That's their job.
Yeah.
They're like, if you're not telling me I'm doing a good job.
Me on.
Right, if you ain't telling me I'm doing a good job, get out of here.
Yeah.
Right, like that's the bare minimum.
That's the bare minimum, please.
Yeah.
But we need those accolades to keep going,
No,
though.
absolutely.
And we don't have like mid-quarter reviews and raises and things like that to affirm us.
Right.
So I think it's important for Black men to recognize their accomplishments, receive compliments, even if it's from your girl. Maybe you could ask your girl what you doing good at right now. If you don't feel comfortable, asking a homie or something.
Yeah, I can ask the homies.
But ask somebody what you're doing good at right now. Because the thing is, like, we need positive inputs in order to boost our confidence. We need to hear that we're doing well, that everything is going to be okay, that we're on the right direction. And sometimes we have to seek that out, especially in entrepreneurship, because it's not just given to us.
I like that. Yeah. It's making me think about like your manufacturing affirmation, right? Like, because a lot of the things that I talk about with Black men, when it comes to affirmation, is that we haven't been affirmed enough. Like, this conversation came up in a panel. It's just that us as Black men, like, we grow up and people are just like assuming you should just be doing everything you're doing regardless. You're a provider, so provide. And provide quietly and shut up and do it, right? So I'm not gonna affirm you for doing the things that I'm expecting you to do anyway, right? You know what I'm saying, right? And that's our lived experience, right? So, like, asking people, what am I doing good at, is a really good way of like manufacturing that affirmation that we all need. It's not something that is just for a certain demographic of people. Right, like, Black men need affirmation. I see it on the platform all the time. That's why we throw up so many affirmations throughout the week, because we see that when we put the affirmations up, people can go in there and it resonates with them. We're telling a Black man like, yo, it's okay to not be okay, right? Or it's okay to be in this stage of your healing journey and not be further along, or don't compare yourself. Like, those things are really positive and reaffirming for a lot of Black men that haven't heard those things as much, or have heard the complete opposite. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Man,
and that's why I talk about asking somebody who's close to you, that you already know that like cares for you, loves for you. I'm not telling you to, like, ask a random person, but ask somebody who is going to give you a genuine answer, who cares about you enough to want you to win. Right.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Absolutely, man. Like, I think that's so important, is like creating a support network around you.
Community.
Yeah, and I think a lot of us as Black men struggle with that. Like, we've done episodes where I've had my friends on the podcast, and then I'll see comments like, bro, I need friends like yours. And I'm like, damn, you know what I'm saying? Like, so how do we as Black men create community that we can actually feel comfortable relying on? Because that was obviously a theme of the conversation earlier. Is sometimes we don't feel comfortable talking to certain folks. So how do we create community where we feel comfortable relying on those folks and then having those deep conversations? Because a lot of us don't have real vulnerable conversations with our friends.
Facts. I really believe that we got to start showing up as the people that we want.
I like that.
So a lot of Black men talk about like, oh, well, I don't know where I'm supposed to go, or, these people don't invite me here, or, we talk about stuff, but we don't really talk about stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's like, how about you show up as the person that the space needs? Why don't you throw a deep question out there, or see what's going on, or you send an invitation.
Yeah.
Like, bro, let's go all get, meet up real quick.
Yeah.
I need some community.
Yeah.
Because if we don't ask for what we want and need, so how are we gonna get there? Like it's our responsibility to ask for what we need. It can't be anybody else's.
No, that's a fact. That's a fact. And I like the fact that you said we gotta show up as what we're looking for, because I was thinking about like, okay, so how did I get friends that actually are comfortable having these conversations? And I realized the reason why we got to that place is because like they were cool with like the podcast. We weren't necessarily like super vulnerable off rape. It's not like we all were like, like let's do a self check-in. You know, I'm like, no, nobody was doing.
Talk about our childhood.
Yeah, right. Like nobody was. Let's talk about your father wound. Nobody's talking about that, right?
Yeah,
like
for sure.
over time, what ended up happening is because I was doing that on the platform, we would end up having those conversations naturally. Right? And then eventually it became, yo, we gotta check in with each other, bro. I care about you. I wanna make sure you good, bro. I ain't like the fact that last time you went through something, we ain't even know about it, bro. So let's implement check-ins. Right? Now, next time you go through something, bro, hit us up because we your bros. We wanna make sure you good.
I love that.
Right? And then we can be more vulnerable because now we know like, okay, we have a track record and a history of I've checked in with this person, and then when I actually went through something, they followed up with me and made sure I was good. That's another part of it. Is like you can't just create the space and then not use the space properly and then not actually show up for people. You create the space, but then you also show up for people when they're actually using the space, right? So like if I'm asking someone like, yo, how are you? And they're telling me, bro, I'm going through a bunch of shit right now.
Right.
I'm not gonna be like, all right, bro, cool. And then be out. Like, nah, you gotta pull up and actually follow up with that person. I feel like sometimes it's like, we miss that piece of it. It's like, okay, this person is showing that they need support. But we don't know how to give support. Or we're giving like the wrong advice.
And sometimes there's so many downloads I'm having at one time.
Nah, please.
I'm hoping I remember it.
Yeah, please, go ahead,
just to piggyback off of what you said, that people may not know how to support you. You don't have to be 100%, your life is great to support somebody else. Okay? You could be going through something and your friend could be going through something and you guys could just go through it together.
I like that.
So let's just start off
Thank
with,
you for saying that.
You don't have to have it all together just, to support your homie or to support your friend.
Right.
9 times out of 10, if I share with you what I'm going through and then you share with me what you're going through, there could possibly be some similarities.
Right.
And we can vent about it, talk shit about it together, like say F these people together, but regardless, you're not by yourself.
At the very least, what it does is it allows you to get it out, which is progress in itself. Yeah.
Right.
What's the other downloads you had?
The other downloads is,
I hope you remember.
I do.
Yeah, okay.
When you said that I started doing the podcast and then my friends started opening up to me, I was just thinking about how like this been a common theme, just like with my friend group, is that when you say yes to God, other people benefit.
Yeah, for sure.
And our yes is so important.
Yeah.
Because if you didn't step into that, it wouldn't have shifted your friend group's conversation.
No.
So it's like, we have to truly be comfortable with saying yes. That's why we got to know what we like, what our heart's desires are, what we need, so that we can say yes to the help, to the direction, to the community, so that we can lead to something else. Same thing with showing up as the person that you want to see. When you say yes against the weirdness of, I'm about to ask my boys out, whatever. But when you say yes to do it anyways, you have no idea what you just did for other people.
Yeah, we about to get into the spiritual section of the conversation.
You have no idea.
I see, because I always tell people, like, people see the platform and they see like what we're doing with the podcast and all that kind of stuff, and they always congratulate me, and I'm just like, bro, chill out, because I don't want all that. I always give all glory and all praise to God, because this is not me. I always tell people that all the time. I don't want anybody to get it confused. It is not me. It is a symbol of what obedience does.
Exactly.
Right? Because I don't want anybody to think that we started the podcast and then all of a sudden we got to however
Light
many
skin
followers,
reaction.
right? Like we got to however many followers we have, right? No. We started in 2017 and 2020. I didn't make a dime off anything. I wasn't even doing Express Yourself Black, man. I didn't even have the idea yet. What was happening was God was putting me through all the things I needed to go through, giving me all the skills and education that I needed so I could be able to take that and then apply it to Express Yourself Black, man.
Right.
So it was an obedience through the trials that I didn't even want to go through initially. That had me at the point in 2020 where I was like, bro, I'm not doing any more business stuff. God, I'm good. I got a 9 to 5. I'm making good money now. Don't hit me with no more ideas.
The creative abundance. Turn it off.
Yeah, I'm done. All right. I don't even want to. I'll pray to you. We'll talk. But don't put me no more business ideas, bro. Just wasting my time and money, right? Then eventually I get a new idea and I'm like, damn, this actually makes a lot of sense. And my bro is encouraging me, the same bro that's in the group chat now that we talk, he's encouraging me, right? He's encouraging me. He's like, yo, bro, you gotta do it. I'm like, bro, leave me the hell alone.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But eventually, I was done, bro. I was done. I promise you, I was done. I was not planning to start no podcast, bro. Right? So eventually I realized like, yo, this makes sense to just do it, just try it.
Yeah.
And one thing led to another. But all of that came through obedience. It's not just me saying, yo, you know what? I'm gonna start this podcast. This is the dope vision I have, and I know it's just gonna end up taking off. Nah, I tell people all the time, a lot of the stuff that I do, I just flow into it. I walk into it.
Yep.
I don't squeeze my way into anything. I'm not pulling people into anything. I'm not forcing anything, because when you're doing something, when you're being obedient to God, God will put things in your path.
Man.
I don't have to like force conversations. I don't have to force partnerships. I don't have to force episodes, right? I don't have to force anything because God is in control.
Right.
And I think that is like, I want to go back to the conversation we were having before about like relinquishing control.
Yep.
A lot of us struggle with relinquishing control because we feel like we are actually in control of our lives.
Yeah.
A lot of Black men are like,
I can do it.
Yeah, I can do everything.
Yeah.
I'm in control. I got it. I'm the provider.
Yes.
I'm the protector.
Yes. For sure.
I can do everything. And it's like, bro, I came to the realization that if I'm providing and protecting for everybody else, who's providing and protecting for me?
You see what I said?
It has to be God, right? So if I'm not receiving from God, I'm not going to be able to produce for myself and other people
at all.
And I think that's one of the things that we miss the most when we get into like all of these earthly things and all the accomplishments that we want to get to, is we think it's just us, especially as men. If I can't do it myself, I'm not a man. You know what I'm saying? Like that's really some of the internal dialogue that we have with ourselves. Like, if I can't do it by myself, I'm not a man. If I need to rely on anything or anybody else outside of myself, I am not a man. And I really want us to get out of that thought process. And I think the biggest way and the best way for us to get out of that is to submit and have obedience to what God is calling us to do. Because that has really changed my life. I always tell people it's not me, it is God for sure, man. So
even when you said I'm not a man, I want to add of God ?
Say that again.
Yes, when you said I am not a man, when you're frustrated, if I can't do this, I am not a man. Of God ? Like, are you not a man of God ? ?
I like that.
If you are a man of God, then you can do all things with relinquishing your control of this. He will do the things that you were missing and that you are lacking of.
Right.
So instead of trying to do it yourself, are you not a man of God?
I like that.
That was off the top.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I got a couple, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to hit them with something. Yeah, nah, I like that. Ooh, yeah.
Come on, like surrender it. I told you, I said earlier, like, the first thing that Black men need to do is recognize their position, which is a child of God.
You did say that.
Yes.
I really love when episodes just come full circle, man. I'm telling you, it happens a lot.
And you know what else? I was saying something else about your yes, and just like how it just like affect so much. And then you started talking about the seasons 2017 to 2020
Yeah.
when it was hard.
Mm-hmm.
Why did I have the revelation the other day
What?
that 2021, as I talked about 2021, and 2020, 2021, 2022, those were the years that I was studying as an associate professional counselor to become licensed. And I graduated in 2019 in the fall, and like shit started hitting the fan after like COVID, like March.
Right.
Like I had 2 events at the top of 2020. It was going great. Emotional Exchange was like hitting Atlanta. People was loving it. I had great feedback and everything.
Yeah.
Pandemic happened. Confidence went out the window because I just planned to have all these in-person events. I got my first therapy office. It was on the top floor, seeing the city. I'm like, oh my gosh, I finally get my couch. Like as a therapist, like who's like training, and it's something that you've always wanted to do. You know, we still have that storybook image of a couch, you know, with my clipboard. And it's about to be a good experience. March came, completely dead that whole idea.
Couch was out the window.
Okay, because it wasn't no clients. But I had the revelation recently that I went into I didn't know my own power. I didn't know the people that I was going to free. I didn't know that emotional and mental wellness was as important as it was because I didn't put up protectants and barriers for me in expectation that things were going to get rough, that the enemy was going to try to stop me from releasing these groups of people, you know? And I realized that those years were preparation for me to be able to be confident as a therapist today, but it was also a testament to not being in my word, not surrendering, not being disciplined, you know, and what that could lead to if we don't have those spiritual barriers around us and around our gifts. And around our gifts.
Man.
So you just made me think about my own.
Yeah, you're giving me a word right now. Now I'm realizing, man, there is a preparation period before you accomplish or achieve whatever God has set for you. There has to be preparation. And oftentimes the preparation period is ugly. It is ugly.
Terrible.
Nobody wants to go through it. It's long. It feels like it's long for no reason at all.
Literally.
You're doing all of this comparison to all these different folks. You're like, yo, but they're in their season of winning.
Yep.
Where is my season of winning?
It cannot look like this.
This is not it.
There's
right?
no way it can look like this.
But you got to realize you are in your season of preparation. And I am so glad I didn't decide to stop after my season of preparation.
Right.
Because that was my season of preparation was 2017 up until 2020. 2020 happens, now I have a decision to make. I can just stick with the 9-to-5 stuff, or I can actually decide to still do the 9-to-5, use that capital to build the business.
Isn't that what you did?
Right, and that's exactly what I did, right? And so what ended up happening was the season of preparation allowed me to propel into the season of winning.
Right.
Because now I have all this preparation. I know how to make merch. I know how to make a site. I know how to buy a domain, right? I know all of these things. So now that I'm starting something new, I'm not really starting something new.
Right.
I'm building off of the preparation that was done from 2017 until 2020. And oftentimes what ends up happening for a lot of folks is they're in the season of preparation and they're like, oh, hell no, this is crazy. Man. I don't got the Beamer yet. I don't got the BMW.
Y'all have no idea.
I'm out. This ain't what I signed up for. I am out. They in the season and then they just dip out. Or they get out of the season and they stop.
Distracted.
Right, or they get distracted. And then you never get to the season of winning because you stopped too early. There's like a meme, I don't know if you've ever seen it before, where there's like it's a picture of a guy. He's like mining. It's like a cartoon. He's mining.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, he's mining. He has like a pickaxe and he's mining through dirt. It's like two folks, right? One is on top, he's mining through dirt, and the other one is mining through dirt as well. There's one that like at the bottom of the picture, you see him like he's turning away, like he's done.
Yeah.
The other one you see like he has just cracked through and there's like a bunch of diamonds on the end. That's what I always think about. It's like the people that are like successful, it's not because they're like great and they're like they have something that's better than you or anything. Like I don't really think about success like that anymore. I really think about it as the people that are successful are just the ones that stick with it longer.
Right.
If you just stick with it for as long as you need to stick with it, at some point in time, you will break that barrier that you need to get to whatever success that you're trying to attain.
I think what's really important is knowing that when you're in that season to like surrender and relinquish control 100%. And when we are in that season and we think that we can do everything and all things, then we do, it feels worse.
It does.
And you could definitely delay some things when you're over there. Like, because I think about like my APC, which is Associate Professional Counselor journey. And as a therapist, becoming a therapist ain't no joke. Okay?
Oh, for sure.
We got to go to master's program. First, you got to have your undergrad. Then you got to go to master's. Then when you graduate, you got to be an associate for somewhere in between 2 to 3 years. Some people do 4 years. When you're an associate, in Georgia specifically, you can't open up your own practice. So you have to work under other people, which takes away from your money. Like it's a whole thing. So I was in that season and I was like, what am I doing? Like, this is not adding up. I know I did not go get a master's to be here in deficits.
Right. No.
I was like, what is happening? I got to take on all these problems. Like, what is happening? So like, even all of those things compounding together, I still wasn't focused on, while I was in it, I wasn't focused on how my gifts were providing relief for other people. I was really just focused on what I didn't have and how much I was struggling. But that's why I said, I recognize now where I am at a sense of peace that I was so in a turmoil because I was not focused on how my gifts were impacting other people. Like, I didn't know my own strength. I didn't know my own power.
Right,
you know? As a new person, I mean, I just graduated graduate school. You know what I mean? You don't know much. Of you're getting your first clients for the first time. You know, you finally are like sitting with somebody and they're telling you about their childhood and you're like, oh shit, I think we talked about this one time.
Yeah, let me go and see. Can you hold on? Can you pause real quick? Let me go take my notes.
I took a note about this.
I promise you, I got something.
Over here, they said that trauma. All right, got it.
Damn,
like, it's really scary. It's a scary experience becoming a therapist for sure. So,
nah, man, that's crazy. So, it gets me thinking about like when we graduate or when we graduate, we get our certificates or whatever the case may be, and we're starting something new for the first time that we've somewhat prepared for. I know there's some Black men that are probably fresh out of college or in a new job early in career. How do you help those folks, or like maybe started a new business? How do you help them navigate those feelings of like, you know, like I'm getting my first client or I got my first big project. Like what are some things that a Black man can do when he's navigating those things? Yeah,
well, remember first and foremost, Black man, you are qualified to be in the room.
I love that.
Like, you are qualified. You don't need another book, another notes. Everything that you have inside of you makes you qualified to do that thing. Secondly, focus on the people that you're serving. What do they need? What is the purpose of me doing this? Even if the purpose of you doing that is just to save money to get a car. Or the purpose of you doing that is to just stack your bread to get your own place. Even if the purpose of you in a job or whatever is monetary gain, know that monetary gain is connected to then still helping someone. You know, so focus on the mission and the people that is serving and why you're there. Like,
I like that. I like that.
Focus on why you're there.
Ariane, this has been really dope, man. This has been really dope.
This has been awesome. I can't even lie. I didn't know it was going to be as chill as I knew it was going to be chill because I think people come. But no, this was great.
You enjoyed it?
Yeah.
Okay, I appreciate that. I always tell people like the podcast is not it's not like you're not coming to do it. It's not an interview, right? Like I don't want you to feel like, oh, I gotta let me get my notes and make sure I have the, let me just wipe through and make sure I get all the answers. Nah, like I want it to feel like a real chill conversation, because that's when I feel like it resonates the most. Like I feel like we had a really nice, good flow of conversation. So with that being said, can you tell the people where they can find you, how they can tap in, anything that you have, that you want to promote, whatever the case may be, please shoot all of that stuff so that they can tap in with you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. You guys, make sure that you follow me at Emotional Exchange on Instagram. My name is Ariane Camille, and I'm here to serve you guys. I have webinars, workshops, in-person events, downloadables, all on my page. So follow me on Instagram, hit the link in my bio, and make sure that you tap in so that you are in the room. I want to create safe spaces for you guys that just advance your emotional and mental health. So I'm here for you. You're not doing it alone.
I love it. I love it. Do you have any events coming up or anything that you want? No?
If you click the link in my bio, you'll be able to be added on my list for my workshops. So you won't miss nothing.
And then where can they find it again? Say it one more time.
At Emotional Exchange on Instagram, and hit the link in my bio.
Solid. Ariane, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Kizzle.
This has been dope. Okay.
Thank you so much for watching this episode. If you are planning an event or you are part of your organization's Black employee group and you are interested in having dope Black mental health professionals or myself come in and do a speaking engagement or a workshop or a keynote address or a panel, please click the link in our bio on Instagram or TikTok, scroll down and click book us for speaking and brand deals and fill out the form available on our website. Once you fill out the form, one of our team members will get back to you about how we can collaborate and create something dope for your organization. This is an unparalleled opportunity. We are currently the largest Black men's mental health platform, and we have a few slots available for our calendar year, and we would love to partner with you to create something dope for your organization if it makes sense for both parties, right? So go to the link in our bio, scroll down, click book us for speaking and brand deals, and fill out that form. If you're not on Instagram, the link should be linked in our description of this episode. And it is also on our website. If you go to expressyourselfblackman.com/speaking-brand-deals. That's expressyourselfblackman.com/speaking-brand-deals. If you are looking for a therapist, a Black therapist, and you've had a hard time finding one, you've jumped from therapist to therapist, or you just don't know how to find a therapist, we are teaching a free webinar. It's completely free, taking you from not knowing how to find a therapist, not knowing where to search for therapists, struggling with finding good therapists for you, not knowing what to look for in therapists, teaching you all of those different things, and also giving you the opportunity at the end of the webinar to be connected with one of our safe haven healers who are Black mental health professionals, so that you do not have to go through the struggles of finding a Black therapist alone anymore, right? So if you're interested in that, you want to get connected with a Black mental health professional at the end of the webinar, or you just want to learn how to find a Black therapist by yourself, you can sign up for the free webinar. It's linked in our bio on Instagram and TikTok. You just click that free webinar link. Once you click the link in our bio and fill out the form. You can also find it on our website at expressyourselfblackman.com/links and fill out the form there for our next webinar session. If you're not interested in any of that, right, but you know someone that may be interested in it, all we ask is that you please share it. If you want some of the merch that we show on the platform all the time, that we're wearing on the platform all the time, you can shop it at shop.expressyourselfblackman.com. And once again, we just want to say thank you so much for watching this episode. Thank you so much for supporting us. Please, if you are on YouTube, leave a like, subscribe, comment. If you're listening to this on an audio platform, please leave a review. It helps us out greatly. Thank you so much for your support. We're wishing you nothing but the best and sending you and your family and your loved ones love and light. Peace.
Sometimes I know you feel like you ain't got nobody to speak to. A shoulder to lean on somebody you could preach to. No, you need to hear it, my brother, I love you. We got way too much to live for.